What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great Sunday, having a great weekend out there. We had some Eagles football yesterday, so I know I'm ready to run through a wall, just able to talk about all this stuff, what I saw, what you guys saw. It has been truly a great time. I'm excited, and look, we've been counting down every damn day. All you sickos are with me, so really can't thank you enough if you're tuning in live, watching this later, whatever it may be. But excitement in the air, and let's take a look at some footage from yesterday. Let's get the juices flowing in here, and let's talk some birds, baby. Let's go. Oh, baby. I don't know about you, but a lot of excitement for me watching a lot of these young guys. It's preseason football. Look, I know, and people always get upset in this time. And look, if this is not the time for you, that is okay. This is for the sickos, the ones who love and know ball. So please let us enjoy this time. I've already seen it, the craziness out there, but we will not pay any attention to that. We will enjoy ourselves and what we saw there. We're going to take a look at the snap count for both the offense and defense, what that means. We'll, try to break it down. Then we'll look at whose stock is up, whose stock is down. Then we'll look at who I have as roster locks. A couple things maybe change there, and who I have on the bubble. And then, of course, I'll give you my updated depth chart as promised. So lots of information here tonight, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's get this thing rocking and rolling. I see the chat is rocking and rolling over here, so let's go. My man Drew starting us off. That's what's up. I saw you last night commenting. I literally was going to text you, and then I was like, well, I'll just wait till tomorrow. It's probably at first I was going to do it before the game, and then it just got too insane. And then last night I was like, man, I haven't heard from him. Hope he's doing all right. Then I see your comment. I'm like, all right, baby, let's go. 2-hour plane ride. You get off and you want to watch the show. Means the world to me, dude. But hopefully, you got my initial reaction there and enjoyed that. But we're going to break this bad boy down. I'm going to tell you, some more about what I saw, and just every damn person, we're going to talk about it. So let's effing go here. Look, we had like 7 penalties for 40 yards. We were doing pretty bad this training camp with penalties. So got to clean those things up. And honestly, that's much better than what they've been doing. So you got to just keep improving in that area. And that's what this time is for. Happy Saturday to you as well, Liz. Let's go. Appreciate you tuning in. Hope you enjoyed that game. And look, we all know it's just preseason, but we're watching for individual performances. Sure, we want to win. We love that stuff. But who cares? If we lose, it is truly pointless and meaningless. The outcome is meaningless, but there's so much you can gather from these games. And that's what we're going to do here tonight, talking about the snap count, things like that. I'm pumped, ready to hop through this effing wall, foot still completely swollen. So let's go. I'm pumped up, though. Ready to rock and roll here. My man William in here. Let's go. Doing well. I'm going through walls here, and, he is a beast. And you guys know my reaction video to that. I was ready to lose my mind that we actually got him. So I'm pumped up there. Very excited, but hope you're doing well, my man. Appreciate you tuning in. Twisted, my dude. Let's go. Hope you enjoyed the game. But indeed, Linda, football is back in the air. And look, we've been talking about that depth for months. We finally got a chance to see it. So let's talk about what we saw, some of the things we were expecting. Some things were definitely unexpected. So let's break this bad boy down, and let's take a gander at the offense first here. And we're going to look at the snap count for the Eagles here. And you can see, Tanner McKee played most of the game there, and he did really well. Mariota came in for a little bit. We talked about his performance, but he's new to this system. He needed to play a little bit. But the thing is, with McKee, it's crazy to see, Yeah, he played pretty well. So we'll talk about that here shortly. But Ian Book, his 17 snaps, atrocious. We all knew that going into this game that, well, he just wasn't that good. And he proved that to us watching that game. Now, the running backs, you can see below, Trey Sermon played the most of this game. And surprisingly, Rashad Penny. Now, we talked about Penny and Swift maybe playing a little bit because they're new to the team. Penny is second most snaps there. And then you see Kennedy Brooks. He had that fumble. And DeAndre Swift, he did a lot with his 6 snaps, that 20-yard plus run you saw in those highlights there. Very excited about what he's going to bring to this offense. So, let him knock the rust off, wear an Eagles green. Love to see him out there. I was excited about it. Tyree Cleveland, he did pretty well last night. He got to play the most snaps, most of the game there. Nada, he was up there with him. And look, he had some mistakes there. So he's got to clean some things up. Greg Ward, he got some cramps there at one point, but he was playing well. Hazelwood in there, and then Johnny King. You see tight ends. We had a slew of guys in there. Arnold, Jackson, Calcaterra, Stoll, and Russell all played. So all the guys that are competing behind got some. And Arnold the most, then Jackson and Calcaterra, which Calcaterra we talked about is really battling with Jackson and Arnold for that F-type guy, that receiving type tight end. But when you're seeing these guys with the most reps, it's because they're the ones fighting for the job. They have the most to prove. So you can take what you will for it. Tyler Steen playing tackle, playing some guard there. Sills, a versatile piece that can play tackle and guard. Andrews played a lot of center. Fred Johnson there at the tackles. He can play guard. There's versatile pieces all over this team. Kelly, Good Jones. Everybody. Driscoll. But you can see Toth and Tom not going well for them. They need those reps, but we've talked about that. Don't see those guys making the roster. So, look, at the offensive line, Tyler Steen, not looking so well for him as that right guard spot. Juergens didn't even play. Steen starts off as that left tackle looking like he is the backup there. So, talk about that shortly, but there is the snap count for the offense. Now let's take a gander at the defense here. And woo! Yeah, we had some exciting times here. I'm going to be real with you. Jomo played the most of the interior guys, then Ellis, Tuipulotu, Street. Now we only had a little dabble. Milton Williams, Jordan Davis, and Jalen Carter, but I was excited, especially with Jalen Carter. You saw that play there. Dude is a menace. Love it. Cannot wait. We've talked about that. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Let's go. Edge rushers. Janarius Robinson played the most, then Teron Jackson. Nolan Smith got a little bit of action there. He had his ups and downs. And then Derek Barnett briefly. Now, this bodes well for him that he only played a little bit. Coming back from injury, you want to be cautious with him. But so maybe it's that. But also, he, being the edge rusher 5, I think is his role. And with that restructure of his contract, I think that could be the way it's going. Now, linebacker, everybody got thrown in there. So Van Sumeren led the way. Then you had Kyron Johnson, who, look, he is an edge rusher, but I have him in here. He played some off-ball too. This kid, he's got a versatile skill set. But Zach Cunningham, he and Miles Jack had 20-plus snaps. Morrow and Bradley, you see down at the bottom, and then Ellis with the least. So that's good for Ellis, not being – you want to see more from Jack and Cunningham. They just got added to the team. So you're looking at, what these guys can bring to the table. And look, you didn't see much from Cunningham or Jack. Van Sumeren had some nice plays. Morrow looked really damn good, to be honest with you. And again, Ellis, that bodes well for him, although did have a couple struggles there in those few snaps he had. Now in the secondary, you see safety Sidney Brown flying around, leading the team in tackles with 9. Loved his game. He had a couple mistakes there, but we have talked about this extensively, even pre-draft when I talked about why I wanted to draft him. He's going to fall a little because of his mistakes, but with the right coaching, this kid, the skill set, excited for him. Then you got McCollum, Evans behind him, and Kayvon Wallace and Terrell Edmonds. So everybody is getting a little dabble there other than Reed Blankenship. So Blankenship is that starting guy. Who wants to be the guy next to him? We're going to find out this offseason. Then at corner, you can see Garner and Goodrich, who both had great games, leading the way. Behind them, Williams, who not so great of a game. Ringo, very up and down. Ricks, limited snaps, but he made the most of them, showing why he is called Pick 6 Ricks. Then you have Josiah Scott. Job and McPherson dabbled a little bit, but again, those guys seem to be locked in as backups. So that is telling that they played such few snaps. You just want to see what they've got. And then the next game will be a lot more telling. So we'll continue doing this throughout the preseason, breaking down what we get from, each game. It's going to be different from the regular season. Regular season, we're breaking down each team throughout the week. Then the next game will be, you'll see. If you're new to this channel, do not fear. We'll break every damn thing down you could possibly think of. But now let's talk about, with those snap percentages, what they did with those, whose stock is up, whose is down. Would love to hear who you guys have here, but let me explain it before you freak out. So here's the top 12 people I have with stock down. Dan Arnold played the most amount of snaps, but did absolutely nothing. I think he had like one catch, maybe 7 yards or something. Ian Book, he was completely terrible. So not great for him. Kennedy Brooks with that fumble. I mean, he probably wasn't making this squad, but now he might not make the practice squad. Dennis Kelly, he played a lot, but I saw a lot of mistakes. Maybe I'm just overreacting, but hey, I try to pick 12 guys here for the down and up. But look, Mariota, again, this is his 8th system in 9 years, so I'm not harping on him like, oh, it's over, we got to get a new backup. I'm just saying his stock is down. He really, and it's preseason, so who cares? But he's, tucking and running way too much, not going through his progressions, and that's somebody, in their 9th year, you would think, or 10th, whatever. So I think for me, this guy, he's going to be the backup, but, stock down. Nada, I really love this kid. He's been doing great in training camp, but again, he played the second most snaps, and mistakes, a lot of mistakes. So stock down, he got huge opportunities. He only had like one catch in the game. So that offensive pass interference he had there, that would have been a nice catch. But, you got to clean that stuff up, especially with how loaded this wide receiver room is. So we're going to need him to clean that up. Sua Opeta, he was getting demolished. I talked about this. I don't think he's making this squad. Janarius Robinson, he was out there a lot, did absolutely nothing. Trey Sermon, I know this may be a surprise here, but he was given so much opportunity. Looked terrible as a kick returner. And, running the ball, he had that touchdown. That's great. I think he only averaged like 2.3 yards per carry, though. And again, it's a backup offensive line, so you don't really know. But I thought given so much opportunity, could have done a little bit more there. So I chose to go stock down there. Sippos, look, I don't really know that anybody had a good game. Zentner didn't exactly have his stock up. It's just Sippos, I think, was letting this kid kind of have the competition, still be had here. And that's not something he wants or anybody wants. You should just be winning this competition. It just looks terrible right now, punter. Steen, look, and actually they did have each a couple good punts. Don't get me wrong. But, yeah, Steen, the only reason I have him here is due to the fact that I think his stock is down when it comes to playing right guard. I think Juergens looks like he's going to be that guy. Steen is the future there. Do not get me wrong. You know how ecstatic I am about this kid. But I think that right now his future is going to be our left tackle because we need someone to be that backup. And if Dennis Kelly's not going to be that guy, then I think Steen's stock is down as that right guard, not stock down in general as a player. Greedy Williams, big opportunity to show what he had, and saw some mistakes there. Saw that missed tackle near the end of the half that led to the field goal. Just look, this cornerback room is loaded, so you really needed to shine, and I did not see that. Now, we got through the negative. Let's talk about whose stock is up after that game, and these are just in alphabetical order if you're wondering. But Sidney Brown, look, I don't have Jalen Carter on this because we know what he is, right? Sidney Brown, we know what he is, but I think he really showed off that, look, I'm fighting for this starting safety spot. I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, I got a lot to learn, but I can play football. So loved seeing that. Love his game. Then Tyree Cleveland, man, he did a lot with his opportunities. Love to see that. Maybe see him back there as a kick returner. He has some experience in college there. So maybe we see him doing that, but a good game for him. Christian Ellis, I thought his stock went up just due to the fact that he had the least amount of snaps. He did decent. Again, though, saw a couple mistakes, but I think his stock is up with seeing. Again, you can't read too much into it because you needed to see what those other linebackers had. But I thought the way things are looking and with injuries and things, his stock went up. Mekhi Gardner, look, this kid, we've talked about this cornerback room. I don't know how we're going to do this. We are so loaded here. You're going to hope that you can get some guys on practice squad. But Gardner and Goodrich, man, they both played the most amount of snaps at corner. And I thought they both did really well. And I think, they're going to make this competition really tough as to how many corners we are keeping. And we talked about the versatility of some of these guys, maybe playing, multiple positions, trying to help at safety, at nickel, whatever you can do, to try to win this job. Tanner McKee, stock definitely up. Sure, he was only 50% completion percentage rating, but just percentage. But I think that the numbers are skewed there. Take it all with a grain of salt, as I always say with numbers. But for me, I thought, he looked pretty damn good for his first ever preseason action here. And I think that, given some time, he will improve. And, they saw something to take him in the 6th round, and I'm all about it, man. So we'll talk about this here shortly when I get through the locks and on the bubble. But McKee really making things interesting. McPherson, I think his stock is up. You saw him helping out as punt returner when Greg Ward went out. That's great for him. So if you can help in multiple places, again, that versatility he has shown. When we drafted him, we talked about he can play inside, he can play outside. That's something he has shown this year, doing a lot more inside work. And now he's helping out as a returner. He's just a playmaker. We talked about that when we drafted him. So, hey, all about it. Do what you can. And look, it looks like he's the backup to Avonte Maddox at nickel. So good for him. Looks like his stock is moving up. Nicholas Morrow, he was balling, man. I thought he really looked good in his limited snaps there. But for me, that's all you got to do in this time. And you got to continue to show in camp and show you're learning this defense. And I think you'll be just all right. So Nicholas Morrow, definitely stock up. Ojomo, I thought did really well with his snaps. Didn't jump off the stat category chart or anything, but I thought he looked pretty well. And I think he's fighting for a job here. Eli Ricks, only, 21 snaps or something? And he had that pick 6. I mean, he came in, sure, you're playing backups, but that effing cornerback room is loaded. There's just 4 guys right here with stock up. So the competition is hot. You've got Josh Jobe in there, all kinds of guys. So excited to see how that plays out. Now, Ben Van Sumeren, I thought, leading the way, and obviously you needed to see what he's got. He was at the bottom, of the depth chart there. I think, though, his athleticism, he showed that off. And with, unfortunately, Sean Bradley now being out for the season, tore his Achilles. That's very, very terrible, man. I love that kid. He was definitely fighting for a job as a special teams ace. But now Van Sumeren has definitely seen his stock go up for his play and the unfortunate injury. Now, Kayvon Wallace, he's been playing well. He played well at the end of last season. He's getting first-team reps, so it's looking good for him. And he didn't play too much to where it seems like, the other guys were playing more. So this is going to be an intriguing battle. I don't know so much that he doesn't make this roster. So I'm excited about it. Love it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Whose stock is up, down, where you got? For me, I didn't put, Nolan Smith was real up and down for me. Same with Ringo. Jalen Carter, I already know he is a monster, so that's not stuck up for me. I already know that. We all know that. He generational talent. We've talked about this. So let's go. Let's go. My man, Drew, everything well? Love to hear that. That's what – it's always crazy in there, right? It's always crazy in Philadelphia. But hear that. Glad you got to see some family. Hope you had a great time, my man. Glad you're home. And I'm rooting for him as well. I'd like to see him as a return man. They had Sermon instead. That threw me a curveball for sure. So I'm with you on that, though, for sure as well. Yo, Queen Bird Gang, let's effing go. Appreciate you tuning in. Hope you enjoyed that game. We're going through, talking about it, seeing what we learned here, and breaking this thing down, all these battles here. And there was definitely a lot of mixing and matching. Last night we talked about all the different variations we saw. And look, you got to find out who the versatile pieces are. A lot of great battles all over the board. I'm really excited myself. So, yeah, nobody wants to see Ian Book, but joint practice tomorrow at 5, Tuesday at 5. Then we got preseason on Thursday. So I'll be breaking all that stuff down. We'll have another, pregame show, postgame show, and then we'll do this on Friday. We'll be breaking all this stuff down. Do not fear. My man Lil in here. Let's go. Appreciate you, my dude. I think Mariota mine was out of it all. I don't know about that, but yeah, he's learning his new, system here, and I'm perfectly fine with it. Should have told Ian Book to find out. Yeah, look, there's a reason he's the 4th stringer. It's all good. I know he's not good, but you want someone to be serviceable at least in the preseason. So we'll see what the Eagles do there. I got to keep these young quarterbacks somehow. Yeah, man, I don't know, and that's something we do sometimes. You try to sneak. Oh, geez, you see that ankle injury? Better just slap him on there IR. So, yeah, I know what you mean. And I don't know what the hell we're going to do. And I'm going to keep trying to break it down. But let's break it down right now. Let's talk about it position by position, who the roster locks are, who's on the bubble here. And a couple things have changed. So, well, let's talk about it. Love to hear your thoughts on this. But we're going to start it off with the offense at quarterback. And this has not changed for me. Marcus Mariota is still a lock to make this. And The only thing that really changed now is Tanner McKee is going to give him some competition and could make this squad as a third quarterback. We've talked about this. We don't really need to keep three. Do that new rule the 49ers whined for. They got, you can now have a third quarterback dressed for the game from the practice squad. So, yeah, we could just have a practice squad guy, but do you want to risk letting McKee go to the practice squad? So that now has definitely changed my mind, but he's not a lock to make this roster, but excited to watch him through this preseason. At least we have a quarterback that's, pretty good. Maybe some trade bait. You find someone else to be your practice squad quarterback. I don't know, but at least he's doing well. I like to say that. Now at running back, I took Penny away from the lock. And look, to me, he still makes this squad. I still think, one of the best in yards after contact. Love this dude. Very excited for him. But they're giving competition to Trey Sermon. They're giving him an opportunity. Boston Scott missed this game. And look, they talked about him maybe having some injury. Quez Watkins and Britton Covey did not play due to injury. So you had some guys that were, being precautious with here. And I think that next game it'll be a little bit more telling. But Rashad Penny played a lot, man. And I thought he'd play some. But look, they're really trying to see, can he stay healthy? He got a little banged up for a second there. He was fine. But, we got to see how he holds up here. Again, he's going to be part of a rotation. So whether it's Penny or Sermon or Scott, I'm opening it back up. The top two, we know who they are. But Penny, I still think he makes it as that third guy, and I think he's going to be a big part of this. Just he needs to show it. So I'm opening up the competition. Now, wide receiver, talked about the fact that Quez and Covey did not play, so that opened up some return spots there. But Cleveland went out, showed what he had. Hazelwood made a couple good plays. King had one good catch there. Ward was doing Ward things, but Joseph Nada, I think, could have done more there. But with Covey not playing, that bodes well for some of these other guys. I thought maybe you'd try some other guys as returners, but not doing that apparently. So going to be very intriguing to see. But this back end of the wide receiver competition still wide open here. We're going to see, and we need our quarterbacks to be able to get these guys the ball to be able to see. So, Ian Book, get it together, man. But, nothing changed there for me. Still have the top four guys locked in. Now, tight end, nobody broke away here. It's wide open for me. But, Calcaterra really needs to just go take the job from Dan Arnold, Tyree Jackson. And I think Jack Stoll can prove he's that blocking guy. So, still wide open for me, but they definitely have the lead there. Now, the offensive line will start with the interior guys. And, I still feel the same way about Sills, Steen being those perfect backup guys. Now, beyond that, do you keep another interior guy, somebody that can play center, a Josh Andrews, maybe, Cameron Tom sticks around in the practice squad, or Andrews, and you elevate them on game day if, you really don't need to keep one there. So those new rules really help you with this stuff. So you don't have to keep anything beyond those five guys I have right there. And then interior-wise, you see these three. I think, that makes you feel pretty good having those tackles. Driscoll can play there. We talked about Steen being another guy that, can be the backup tackle. Do you need to keep Kelly? Is he showing you enough that you need to keep a veteran, or you just keep those 8 that I have as locks and then hope a couple of these guys fall to the practice squad and you elevate them on game day if need be? To me, you only really need to keep 8 if they can all move around like that. Anything were to happen to Kelsey, Juergens slides over, Steen slides in. So you have versatile offensive linemen that allow you not to have to keep so many. So I'm still in my mind around 8 that we're keeping, maybe 9. So we shall see, but let me know how you feel. Who's your locks? Who's on the bubble for you? Now let's jump into the defensive side of the ball. Interior defensive linemen. I still feel those top 4 are dominant. Look, Ojomo showing it's going to be hard for him not to make this roster. Needed Street or Tua below 2 to step it up a little more to show why they're here. Still open competition. 5 or 6 at least. I don't know that you keep 7, but interior defensive line, a lot of great competition there. So not going to see much of those top guys because, they are the top guys and they are going to be the best in the NFL. Cannot wait. And then while they're destroying people inside, we've got these edge rushers and oh my Lord, Reddick and Sweat with Smith and Graham backing them up. Who wants to be the 5th, 6th, maybe 7th, but Derek Barnett, Robinson, Johnson and Teron Jackson, all there competing. So talked about Kyron's ability to play off-ball stack linebacker. That's going to help him. Derek Barnett, the money's always going to come into account. So we'll see how many we keep here, but competition still alive and well. looking forward to watching it, through these joint practices. And I love these joint practices because you get to see a lot more of the starters in situational football rather than the preseason where it's just all backups. So stay tuned for those the next couple of days. I'll be keeping you up to date with everything that happens. Now, at linebacker, unfortunately, now with Sean Bradley he'll be placed on IR. You've got down to 5 guys competing for, those 3 jobs that are open, maybe 4. Or no, I would say 3, because Nakobe Dean is the starter who's going to start next to him, and maybe 2 backups there. So Nicholas Morrow making it hard for him not to be the starter next to Dean. Ellis, though, he's putting up a fight. But now with his special teams work and Bradley out, that bodes well for him. Beyond that, which of these veterans wants to step it up between Cunningham and Jack? I don't know that both of them make it. And then Ben Van Sumeren. Look, he's a very athletic freak, but can you just get him on the practice squad? So still intriguing, competition there with Bradley out. That's unfortunate for him. I love that kid. But, maybe you still want to look into adding someone. We've talked about that. If they don't feel comfortable after a preseason game or all the preseason games, remember last year, August 30th, we traded for CJ Gardner-Johnson. So they want to add someone, they can still try to do that via free agency, trade, whatever is on their mind. Go check out that latest video under Show Me the Money playlist, and you'll find out the cap space, all that great stuff. Now, into the secondary here. Look, Ringo, to me, you traded up for him. He is the future here, so I've got him making this squad. And look, McPherson, Job, I feel like they're kind of locks too. I just feel those are the backups. Those are your 6. And the question is, do you keep 7? So Greedy Williams, Josiah Scott, Goodrich, Garner, Ricks, they are all fighting for one job because McPherson and Job, to me, kind of have the lead at 5 and 6. And keeping 7 even is like, oh, my God. I don't know that you can keep 8, but Garner, Ricks, Goodrich, all making it hard not to. Scott and Williams, I think, on the outside looking in here, those 3 young men, you don't want to just let, young guys with promise go. So, it's going to be fun to watch the rest of these joint practices and preseason games to see who wants to stand out. Now, at safety, again, I think it's going to be whoever wins that starting job between Edmonds and Brown, in my mind. I don't think really Kayvon's going to be a starter, but he can provide you depth and be a starter, then cool, he'll make the team. But Justin Evans can do that. Tristan McCollum trying to do that. So we're going to find out this competition at safety, but those top 3 are locks to me. I still think Edmonds provides you that capability. We talk about that dime linebacker doing certain things that Sidney Brown will do in the future here. So I feel comfortable about those top 3. We'll see how the competition goes behind them. I know people feel a little nervous about safety, but I feel pretty comfortable there. If they want to add, sure, but I'm good. Then at special teams here, we've got obviously our kicker and long snapper. They're not going anywhere. But then the punters. I had mentioned it earlier. Nobody really is showing out. They both had a couple okay punts, a couple of times where it's just like, oh, God, is this going to be an issue? Because I'm really getting tired of talking about this. So, hey, maybe you bring in a veteran. We'll see. But maybe it's just Xander and Sippo, so we got to pray to God that things go well. Now, a little something for you here with the return specialists. I don't have any locks here because I don't know who the hell is going to be the return man. Covey, you better be healthy. Better go show what you've got. Boston Scott, the same goes for you. Ward, all these guys have capability or have been used this offseason so far. Job hasn't been, but he's done it. He did it last year. Devin Allen, finally this year, they let him try a couple times. Don't know that they would put him in a game, even in preseason. We'll see. But you've got some options. And now with McPherson and Sermon added in here, makes things intriguing as to, the options you have as returner. So we'll see which way the Eagles go here, but there's at least, I guess, some competition there. We've been asking for it, but again, if I'm playing Madden, right, everybody's healthy, and I'm looking at this roster, to me, Rashad Penny is the kick returner, Alameda Zaccheaus is your punt returner, and you don't have to keep anyone extra because of their return capability, right? You're not like, okay, I'm keeping Britton Covey because I need a punt returner, and Boston Scott, you're at the bottom of our depth chart, but yeah, you are decent at kick returning. It's like, let's have some home run hitters. Penny can blow people up, and he had, 7, I think it was, kick return touchdowns at San Diego State. So, bro, he's shown in college he can do it, but he's been a featured back, and then he gets hurt. Now he's part of a rotation where he doesn't need to be the main guy. He's the third guy. Use him as a kick returner. That's just my opinion. I think that would be awesome. But, again, that's just how I see it. But love to hear your thoughts on it. and we're going to finish it up right here, looking at this depth chart. Then I'm going to get rolling out. But if you have any final thoughts, anything you want to talk about that happened here, love to hear what you've got to say. Tight ends were disappointing indeed. We talked about that last night. They each had like a catch. We talked about Arnold, Calcaterra, Stoll. Tyree Jackson at one point had an opportunity in the red zone. He just showing that he's not going to be that guy. So, yeah, again, that was something I talked about. Wide open competition, right? Nobody's a lock for me other than Dallas Goedert. They've got to go out here and prove something, man. So we'll see. They have Hazelwood at tight end, or is he just wearing weird? No, Hazelwood is a wide receiver, but yeah, in the offseason, you're going to see all kinds of weird numbers and stuff like that. Yeah, I think he is, but obviously he's got all that kind of legal stuff, so people are clearly staying away from that. But let's take a look at this updated depth chart, move some things around after what I saw yesterday. So tell me how you feel. Love to hear it, but let's get into the offense first here. And you can see the little key at the bottom there. Anyone in green, this is their first season with the Eagles. So, look, I'm not reading too much into Kenny Gainwell not playing and DeAndre Swift playing. I've talked about this. It's 1A, 1B. But I'll put Gainwell as the starter there just because it looks cool. All returning members as the starting offense. But DeAndre Swift is going to be a huge part of this offense. I've actually had their names together like I used to have with the right guard there. But look, I don't care who you want to call the starter. They're both going to be a big part, and I hope that Rashad Penny can do the same. Now, who's going to be that fourth guy? Don't know. You see, quarterback's the same. But again, I think McKee is, showing, hey, I want to compete, and if he could be that third guy, hell yeah. Now, wide receiver, the things that changed here. Tyree Cleveland, I moved him behind Devontae. And, Hazelwood, King, they got their snaps. But Deion Kane, Devin Allen, those guys, Deion Kane's been banged up. Allen, he's been banged up. I don't know how much of a chance he's got. Slot, Olamide can play inside, outside. Quez, should be an outside guy, home run hitter. Covey, Greg Ward, these guys, Greg Ward had a good game, but we all know what he is. He's serviceable. We know that Mariota's been throwing with him the whole damn offseason, so of course he was going to have a good game. I'm not reading too much into that, So receiver, though, I like that there's some competition there. I don't even know that you need to keep more than 4, though. We've said it, but if somebody wants to be that 5th guy, whether it's Nada, Cleveland, King, Hazelwood, somebody wants to step it up, Kane comes back healthy and shows something, hey, let's go. Tight end, as I mentioned, wide open competition for 2, 3. We'll see who we keep there, but I'd like it to be Stoll and Calcaterra. I'd like the young men to continue developing and getting better, but I haven't seen that. But again, it's the backups they're playing with. You hope that with the starting offense, they would actually do something. I don't know, though. I'll have to keep my eye on that, though, throughout this all season. Now, at offensive line, I just finally put Juergens there at right guard. Steen could definitely win that job, but it doesn't look like he's even getting a shot. So in the future, he is that guy. Juergens will be center. Yes, love it. But this year, looking like Juergens is that right guard in between Kelsey and Johnson. So I'm perfectly fine with it. But you see, Dennis Kelly, I've got behind Driscoll. I think, again, if you would rock with Steen, Sills, and Driscoll as your backups, again, I feel pretty good about that. Anything happens to Kelsey, you slide Juergens to center and Steen comes at a right guard. Anything happens to Mailata, you've got Steen or Driscoll if you want. Same for Lane. And then you talk about a guard. Sills can play either position. So I feel comfortable with those guys. But, hey, everybody's going to get a shot here this offseason. We'll see how they do. Now on the defensive side of the ball, again, anybody in green is new to the team. I have 12 starters here, so you can see the 5-man fronts. We will run a lot of 4-man fronts, 5-man fronts. Clearly, you're not going to see anything, the multiple schemes that we've been talking about. Look, vanilla play calling on offense and defense. Expect that every year in preseason, just the way it is. They don't care. They're not showing their hand. But these 5-man fronts will be a thing. But the 4-man fronts with the nickel cornerback in are definitely going to be a thing too. And the 2-man fronts and all the different things we've talked about. So, look, for me, this is just a clearer way to be able to look at what's going on. Your edge rushers are Sweat and Reddick. Backing them up are Graham and Smith. You've got Barnett, Johnson, Robinson, Jackson, Johnson, all fighting for those edge rusher positions. And, interior-wise, I don't have Fletch as a starter due to the fact that the future is those 3 guys right there, Carter, Davis, Williams. I think Fletch will start the season as a starter, but he'll be more of that rotational piece like Brandon Graham is, where, he's not seeing as many snaps as these guys because he produces obviously with less snaps because he's getting older, but he still produces. So that's why I have that like that. But look at that, man. Sweat, Carter, Davis, Williams, Reddick. Holy shit. And, in the future, it's going to be Nolan Smith sliding in there for Reddick. So I just very excited there. And, at off-ball stack linebacker, you could see, and I've talked about this, keep in mind, Nolan Smith, Kyron Johnson, they can play off-ball linebacker as well. So you do have competition there. You've got Dean, Morrow, Jack, Ellis, Cunningham, and Van Sumeren now. And Bradley, you could see the first person to get the IR tag. Damn it. But look, best of luck to him. Love that kid. And I think he's a free agent next year, so that really sucks. But, you've got to have these veterans step it up, or maybe the young man. We'll see. But I've got Morrow in there showing why, hey, I'm not losing this job. They're just bringing in competition. So I love it. Christian Ellis is going to push him. So is Jack and Cunningham. And that's all I want to see. Iron sharpens iron there. But Nakobe Dean is that starting guy. Excited there. And then in the secondary, best trio in the game at corner, Slay, Bradbury, and Max. And look, as I said, behind them, Ringo, Job, and McPherson. That, to me, very comfortable with those 6. Now, do you keep 7? Greedy, Mackay, Mario, Eli, Josiah, all these guys are competing. I love it. Just got to keep doing it throughout this all season. And we'll see if you can force the Eagles to keep more than 6. I think you're going to have to. I don't know that you can keep more than 7, but hey, we'll see. Maybe somebody could help at safety because, safety, I feel those top 3 we've talked about, but who wants to be the 4th? Wallace, Evans, McCollum. So a lot of good competition there. Excited about that. And then I'll show you the special teams, even though we just talked about it. But, hey, punter, I'm just like you guys. I'm a little worried there, but we'll see. Hopefully they can start, panning out here throughout the all season. And then you see his returners. I still just got Covey and Scott as the guys because there's really no clear picture as to what's going on there when you see Trey Sermon and Zach McPherson back there. So maybe give Tyree Cleveland a shot with what he's shown on offense. Maybe he can show you, hey, I can help in the special teams area as well. That would definitely go a long way. But they've been giving, Ward, Penny, Zacchaeus, Watkins shots throughout this offseason. So we'll see how it pans out, ladies and gentlemen. But that is all I've got for you tonight. A complete recap of the game with the highlights, the snap count, the stock up, down, the roster locks, who's on the bubble, and then, of course, your depth chart there. If, you're watching this later, or you're rewatching this, whatever, always feel free to comment down below. I am always down to talk some birds, take your questions. You just have something you want to say, whatever it may be. I love you guys that are just throwing go birds in there. That's what it's all about. I mean, that stuff helps, me get into the algorithm out there. So all about it, man. But if you guys have anything else on your minds, feel free to reach out. I'm always 24/7 birds on my mind. So do not fear there, but tomorrow we'll be back. 5 o'clock, they will have joint practice with the Browns. As soon as that is over, I'll put together whatever I can, and then we'll be talking about it. So tomorrow night, we'll talk about joint practice. It'll be the same exact thing. Tuesday, 5 o'clock, their practice will be going on. I'll bring with whatever highlights and things I can, just like we've been doing throughout training camp. And then Wednesday, we'll be getting ready for game day on Thursday. So, okay, all about it, though. Only a few days to wait for Eagles football. That's what I'm talking about. And then the season's going to start the same way. We play the Patriots, and then we have Thursday night football, and, you got like a 5-day wait to play the Vikings. But then you got to wait till Monday Night Football, so you've got like 11 days. So that kind of sucks. But, hey, at least we're starting off getting me excited. So let's go. But, my man, Obi, fly, Eagles fly on the road to victory. You know it, my man. Appreciate you tuning in. What is going on, Donnie? Hope you are having a great weekend. That's all I've got for you all tonight. If any of you rewatch this again, love to hear your thoughts on this, thoughts on the game, all the things I just put together for you, whether you look at the snap count, the stock up, down, you agree, disagree with those, the locks. Let me know how you're feeling about this. Woo! Football's back, baby. All you sickos, we've been hanging in there. We're going to make it 28 days from game 1. Oh, my effing Lord. Does that get me excited? But I hope you all had a great weekend. Until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all have yourselves a great night. Stay safe out there. And as always, say it with me now. Go Birds!